Go! Go! Get in the truck! Get us out of here!
The tires have melted! What do we do? Nothing. It's too late. There's nothing. It's going to be okay. We can fight this. Together. Firefighters said this is a once-in-a-100-year fire. Seems like we have those every year now. A decade of record-high temperatures. The whole area is a tinderbox. But this fire still needed a spark. Stay back! And there's the spark. Leave me alone!
Keep firing! We can't take it down, Captain. Our bullets are melting in the air. Damn it, pull back! I'm calling in air support.
Nope. Call off the attack.
I don't take orders from you, kid. Half the state's on fire. We need to put this monster down.
He's not a monster. I can see past the light, past the heat. I can see the fear. Stay back! Please! Don't come any closer. I know you're scared, but I promise I won't hurt you, and you can't hurt me. Hi, I'm John. I don't know who I am. I don't know how I got here. I don't know what's happening to me. Pulse is racing. I can feel the temperature increasing with his heartbeat. I think your heat is connected to your stress levels, and being on fire and under attack from the military looks pretty stressful. I'm scared. I know, it's okay. Close your eyes. Breathe. Just breathe. I've got you. John Kent is Superman, growing up in a world that relies on Superman. John Kent understands responsibility because Clark Kent was a good father who taught him right from wrong. John Kent stepped up when the world needed him, and the very first time our world heard his name, they heard that he was bisexual. I want to talk about the world's frustrating reaction to Superman, Son of Kal-El by Tom Taylor and John Timms. Superman's 17-year-old son had just come out as bisexual. The media literally rage-baited people into thinking this was Clark Kent for clicks. It worked on a member of the US Senate and a former Superman actor. Stick with me, because this story has it all. And by has it all, I mean we're covering the first 5 issues. Now, before I make fun of a stranger over the internet, I do think it's important to talk about John Kent, the main character. Especially because old mate Dean Cain makes some pretty spectacular accusations, and I think it's important to have context. It's big, isn't it? It's big, and it's very, very small. Yes, you can see what I see, Dad. Oceans struggling to breathe, forests disappearing, ice melting, inaction due to selfishness and fear, division and tribalism, and stupid borders. I get you're having a bad day, but that's pretty bleak. Am I wrong? No, you're not wrong, but you've looked at the small. Now look at the big. What could it be? It could be a place where every problem could be tackled if only the world would unite. A place where no one is left behind. Yes, Dad, why don't you do more? Sorry, I didn't mean, no, it's okay. Bullets bounce off me. I should be able to handle some constructive criticism. I think part of me holds back because I wasn't born here. I can help, but I can't lead, except by example. Part of me feels it's not my place. Well, that's idiotic. Your criticism is getting less constructive. You're the greatest hero on the planet. If you won't step up, who will? I was thinking you. This is your planet, John. This is your place. Are you literally dropping the weight of the world on my shoulders? You won't have to lift it alone. You'll have friends to help bear the burden. Immediately after this, Clark Kent says, I'm out, and then just disappears off the face of the earth. The last thing he says to John before he leaves is that he should smash that subscribe button. While he's Earth's one and only Superman, he's out on a mission to make the world a better place. This includes, but is not limited to, rescuing refugees from a dictatorship, calling out that dictator for being a little bitch, rescuing human trafficking victims, save victims from flash flooding and natural disasters, and basically become medical infrastructure for a day. Now, I could make a whole video about Dean Cain. He used to play Superman, and now he works for ICE. And you know what? I used to watch this fucking series. Little 8-year-old me would get to the TV every week and watch Superman punch Lex Luthor in the dick, and it'd blow my mind. Since his venture as Superman, he has made himself a full-time right-wing cuck. Matter of fact, I can quite confidently say that Dean Cain also doesn't read any fucking comic books. It isn't bold or brave. Superman actor Dean Cain slams decision to make the superhero bisexual as bandwagoning, and calls for DC Comics to fight real injustice, like human trafficking and gay rights in Iran. What the fuck is this? Is this actually just brain rot? I read this Daily Mail article from start to finish, and it might have been the worst thing I've ever done to myself.
They say it's a bold new direction.
I say they're bandwagoning. Dean Cain, please, no, you're supposed to be Superman. This isn't what he would do.
I don't think it's bold or brave or some crazy new direction. If they had done this 20 years ago, perhaps that would have been bold or brave. But brave would be having him fight for the rights of gay people in Iran, where they'll throw you off a building for the offense of being gay.
I want to break down this part into two sections. The first one, if they'd done this 20 years ago, that argument, I want to phrase my question very carefully because it needs to encapsulate a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings. What the fuck does that even mean and why is it relevant? If they had made a bisexual Superman 20 years ago, you would be applauding. Is that what you're saying? But because the non-straight character was created now, it's bandwagoning. What's clear is that in his head, he thinks there's good inclusion in media for groups he doesn't relate to and bad inclusion in media for groups he doesn't relate to. This basically creates an approval system in his mind. For a character to be successfully diverse, he personally needs to like it. If he doesn't, then he doesn't critique the book or the author, he challenges the character's existence. What really happened is he saw Superman is gay and it pissed him off. Then he found out it was Superman's kid, but he was still pissed off. He saw the pictures online and arrived at the conclusion that gay people were taking away Superman. From comments I'm about to talk through, it's clear he hasn't read the book, but he feels passionate enough about how right he is that he's willing to make public statements about it. Okay, second point. Who the fuck was talking about gay rights in Iran? Definitely important, but I'll be the first to admit I'm not up to date on gay suffrage in the Middle East. But why is that what he deflected to? Even better, Dean Cain is literally a part of ICE. If this book came out and Superman's bisexual son was fighting for gay rights in Iran, we'd be here talking about his crash out over that. Look, everyone knows that Superman does good. It's pretty simple, but does good does not mean maintain the status quo. There is no reason why John Kent could not be bisexual. I watch a Batman cartoon and I think it's literally me. John Kent could be that for a whole new group of people. There's no argument of him having an existing history. He was a new character that had recently become a late teen.
Why don't they have him fight the injustices that created the refugees, whose deportation he's protesting?
There are actually scenes of John Kent doing exactly that. You can read it in the book that you're literally fucking talking about.
That would be brave. I would read that.
Well, apparently, no you wouldn't.
There's real evil in this world today. Real corruption and government overreach.
I couldn't agree more, Dean Cain, who recently joined ICE.
Plenty of things to fight against. Human trafficking, real, actual slavery going on. It would be brave to tackle those issues, shine a light on those issues. I'd like to see the character doing that. I'd read that comic.
Great! Dean Cain, I have the perfect book recommendation for you. I'm gonna end the Dean Cain right here, but pretty much he goes on to say, and Robin's gay, and Captain America's gay. Now, before I make fun of another stranger over the internet, I do think it's important to talk about Jay Nakamura. Like his father, John fell for a reporter. But Jay doesn't work for such a prestigious organization as the Daily Planet. Jay has the power to become intangible. Using it, he sneaks into sensitive areas of corrupt governments and big businesses, and then he pretty much just live streams it. Robin, of Batman and Robin, tells John Kent that he should follow the truth. The truth is reporting that a ship holding dozens of people is fleeing a vicious dictator. Every single government knows about the dictator, and their responses are either ignore it or join him. No one is coming to stop this ship from sinking. And then there's Superman. Jay's smitten with John because, without knowing who Jay was, John jumped in the way of a bullet for him. Of course, he's Superman, so he was fine, but it definitely left an impression. Jay looks up to Lois Lane, and in turn, she goes on to help Jay with the truth. This is Superman, told from the lens of another generation. Superman loves Lois Lane. Period. Hollywood is trying to make Superman gay, and he is not. Just rename the new version Superman so we can all know the difference and avoid seeing it. Wendy Rogers is a member of the US government. This is literally a senator of the country. Her job is to write laws. What really happened is she saw Superman is gay and it pissed her off. She didn't even click the link to get context, she just immediately threw a grenade into the culture war. There are people out there who read this tweet and to this day believe gay people tried to take away Superman. Superman loves Lois Lane, period. Great, everyone's on board for Superman loving men. I think what Yzma is trying to say is Lois Lane, in which case, Sweet Home Alabama. Hollywood is trying to make Superman gay and he is not. This is entirely correct, except it's not Hollywood, it's not the Superman she's talking about, and he's not gay, he's bisexual. Just rename the new version to Superman so we can all know the difference and avoid seeing it. This is just plain and simple homophobic comments, right? From a senator that then needs to represent all the gay people in her state, represent their portions of the public interest in government. She writes laws. Now, you guys know me. I keep politics strictly out of all my content. This is just a goofy YouTube channel about silly comic books for kids. So I'm not going to talk about Wendy Rogers anymore. And I'm definitely not going to talk about Wendy Rogers Oath Keepers. Definitely not something I'm talking about or suggesting anyone looks into. Do not Google Wendy Rogers Oath Keepers. This is a state of global news and communication. These are trusted organizations. People will genuinely use this as their source of information. There are people that will only read the title and then say they are up to date with current events. Look, if you're watching this, you probably understand what clickbait is. But have we really thought about what clickbait is? I'm on the Daily Mail and we can see a reasonably well-presented article here. But now, let's turn off my ad block. If you click on any of these ads, there's a chance the website might make money. So the website is financially incentivized to prioritize ad visibility over user experience. They want you to be on the website, so they're baiting you with an emotion-inducing title. How do we think this makes people feel about gay people? There are people out there who have never had relationships with gay people beyond the surface level. Their entire interaction with the LGBTQ community is exclusively via the internet, via posts like these. These people are usually fucking nerds. I don't mean that in an insulting way. Heck, I run a comic book YouTube channel. I mean that in the type of content that usually gets targeted for rage bait like this. It's usually movies, video games, comic books. It's targeting lifelong fans of a franchise who have had experiences in their formative years with the brand, adopting the brand as part of their identities. These websites are exploiting that by misrepresenting recent developments to elicit an emotional response, making you more likely to click the link. But who is that rage directed towards? People have gone into the article mad and misdirected. Whatever they're about to read is not going to be received well. Superman's gay, Robin's gay, Captain America's gay. I can't imagine someone reading the title, getting into the article, getting the context in the most biased way possible, and then being like, oh, it's his son, not him. Okay, all good. What? Can you stop grinning? It's a little disconcerting coming from you. So, Jay's the head of the truth. Impressive. Yeah? You know, I'm on my way to being the greatest detective in the world, and I'm also your best friend and quite perceptive, and I'm really happy for you, man. Thanks. Robin, why are you grinning? No reason. It's a little disconcerting coming from you. Exploitation like this in the media is in no way exclusive to the LGBTQ community, but it is a real problem that a lot of people's only exposure to minorities are through websites and social media that's just trying to make money. These people are very likely to become radicalized, and they're high candidates for the alt-right pipeline. Our news media gets rewarded for creating these people, and is financially incentivized to continue to do so. Clickbait has just become super normalized. No one questions anymore when a title just outright lies to you. Matter of fact, no one questions why the ones that do lie to you make the most money. Anyway, this was a different kind of video than what I normally do, and I'm not gay or bisexual or anything, I'm straight. I believe that if superheroes were real, they would try to stop this. They aren't real, but that does tell me I think it's wrong. So, if you think it's wrong too, and you like these kinds of videos, like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube things. My next video is going to be, does Daredevil have a hard-on for violence? So, get keen for that. Peace out, tax the rich. Hello, future me. I hate you. I love you. Treat yourself with kindness.